What's up, everybody? Hope everyone's enjoying their Saturday, enjoying their weekend and all. It's the Left Fresh Podcast, Saturday Night Live Hip Hop Edition. Thank you all for tuning in. Those who already have, already know. For those who just tuning in for the first time, I want to encourage you to subscribe, like, comment, share, tell a friend to tell a friend. Thank you all for jumping on. Appreciate you all again. Hope you all having a great weekend. Hope you all had a great week. Those who know me from the Wednesday episodes, you can follow me on there at 9 p.m. on YouTube for the hip hop sports. Sorry, and of course tonight we're gonna get into some new hip hop releases and talk about two new albums that came out as well as a anniversary 30th anniversary of a legendary sophomore album and which leads to another discussion of great sophomore albums that I'll be discussing as well. So I have some select albums to go into as well. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. It's not further delay. Like I said, get you ready all for the head into the night. Finish up the weekend strong. Some good hip hop discussions. Remember 2 weeks ago, didn't have a hip hop discussion for 4th of July, but 2 weeks ago I discussed the 2016 freshman class. I told you I listened to everybody just to give them a tryout. Some I listened to, some I probably won't listen to in large doses. Just come across a couple of singles that I like. In the playlist era, it's pretty much what you can, the best you can hope for. You know what I mean? Some good albums still these days, but a lot of times you just more or less just in the playlist era. You know, you like your singles, pretty short, pretty short songs. You know, catchy. You just kind of compile and throw a playlist of your various artists on there, as opposed to kind of like just go through an album per se. But I do go through albums just to go through the singles that I want for like a playlist and everything. So albums still have their value. Um, Particularly this group right here had a artist that released an album just yesterday. Um, Artist Reezy, from Louisiana. He's like an artist slash activist too, man. Salute to him doing a lot of stuff for the youth out there in New Orleans. But yeah, he dropped the album yesterday, Skiddle Bandana. This one was actually like production wise, I can honestly say like the beat selection was top tier. This is kind of one of his still newer releases. He's still kind of pretty much getting started. He has some other projects he's done with other artists and everything. One particular Louisiana. Um, he's getting going though. I mean, this project right here showed a lot of growth. Um, Production wise, I like the beat selection. I like the production. Production on this project was really good. See the artwork on this pretty unique. He's really big on discussing as far as content goes, like discussing New Orleans culture. You know, being very celebrating the culture and everything like that too. So yeah, his content is pretty good. He has a unique delivery. Like his voice is unique. Maybe an acquired taste for some, but he has a unique voice, got a unique delivery. He's not, you know, kind of reminds me of like the early days of Young Thug a little bit. I mean, just in the but he got the Louisiana draw real strong. So it's like, yeah, it's a different type of delivery. I haven't heard a New Orleans artist that kind of has that unique delivery like that. So yeah, it's a different sound, and then with the drawl and everything like that, yeah, it's definitely different. But I mean, you got a flow though, man. It's pretty, you know, it's pretty good delivery though, nevertheless. And then as far as like production goes, like these songs right here is a pretty good selection. Curly Head Boy, was a good intro. Hot, that started off pretty good. Family Busy was like the first song I heard, and I talked about it 2 weeks ago as well. That was a pretty good track there as well. Normal Struggles, Pretty Girl BS. How Did You Love Me? How Did You Love Me was a good R&B. I don't know the singer on there, but yeah, she did a thing on How Did You Love Me. Hold Your Crown was more like an interlude, but yeah, it was a pretty good start to the album. I mean, even on the last couple tracks, 13 tracks on there, Skittle Bandana, the title track was beat selection top tier. Melanated was good. All right was definitely good as far as production going. Gold Chains too. Um, We Live didn't really necessarily grab me as far as the ending track. I know a lot of people like the last track to be a strong one. Me, it wasn't the strongest, but I think the rest of the album was surprisingly good. Like, I mean, like I didn't really have too much of it. I didn't know what to really expect, but you know, first listen, I was like, you know, the production was good though. I mean, I like his beat selection, y'all. So yeah, I mean, if you, you know, And he kind of reminds me. He kind of has the delivery of a JID, kind of like the voice. He has like a JID type of voice. You know what I mean? It kind of gives me like a JID type of voice. Um, I do think that his production though, that's kind of the driving force though. I mean, the melodies and everything like that, and the sounds. And then, like I said, he rides the beats pretty well. I heard him on LA Leakers freestyling as well. He's pretty good though. He kind of reminds me of like a Nick Grant style rapper. Kind of a Nick Grant, kind of a not so much Nick Grant because he's more activism type of in his raps as well too. So I mean, he has a different style. It's unique though. Like I said, it's kind of after talking about the freshman cover from 2 weeks ago. This album just came out. Um, yeah, I mean, this one right here is kind of a pleasant release. I think this freshman cover is like it's been a while since you had freshmen on the cover that people that everybody that not everybody has already heard of. 'Cause usually, it's a game of like you don't know if everybody even knows who these artists are, especially the older group. The older group forget about it, but it's like a younger group that kind of knows a lot of these artists already. But the younger group, the Belly Gang Cushion, you already know Belly Gang Cushington. You kind of already know Hurricane Wisdom. The younger artists know them. Trap Dicky, Sound of Kendrick. But yeah, Reezy, he kind of came from, a little bit lesser known to me, and was pleasantly surprised with the production. So I mean, yeah, that was the new release that came out Friday. Um, Good release, but it kind of got overshadowed, of course, because the anticipation of a well-known artist, household name, has been out for quite some time now. I want to say about 16 years, like a 16-year run. Future dropped his album, The Real Me, yesterday, and like I said, Future been on a 16-year run, and that's a long time. That's a long time with a lot of catalog as well. And there was a particular period where Future couldn't be touched. 2015, 2016, 2017. Yeah, Future. I mean that was definitely the that was definitely the key years of Future's years. So, you know what I mean. Let me before we get into this album, let's just you know, look at the standard of Future and Hendrix, you know what I mean? And you know what I mean? So, and dare I say, I mean, Dirty Sprite, dare I say Dirty Sprite, you know what I mean? Like the standard of Future albums is pretty much going to be looked at with those albums in that name. You know what I mean? Dirty Sprite, Hendrix, Future, and Real Me. Yeah. I mean Dirty Sprite too, of course. Yeah. Yeah, what up, man? Especially, yeah, Dirty Sprite 2, Hendrix, Future. I mean, even compared to this, Dirty Sprite 1 is probably, stronger than this. Listen, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, the first song, F a interview, it got me a little bit. Yeah, I mean, once the beat dropped and everything, and I was like, okay, yeah, Future back on the, Future. Here we go, Future back. 1, 2 came, and I was like, yeah. Don't get me wrong, 1, 2 was all right. It was a nursery, got a nursery rhyme and everything. I'm gonna say it like this. Yeah, beast mode was they told me. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I never trusted you. I never liked you. Yeah. Yes, too. Exactly. Yeah. There's a holy grail of Future albums out here. There's a holy grail of Future albums out here. And the real me, it's gonna be held to that expectation. And it just didn't quite deliver. And no, I don't expect Future to grow and evolve or anything like that. I seen that criticism. I'm not really, that's not my criticism. I don't think Future should grow and evolve or anything like that. I just think if you're not going to grow and evolve, you got to have the same quality. You can't diminish the quality. I mean, beat selection was off. Um, and then when the beat selection is off, everything falls apart. I think when it comes to Future, like that your production heavy. You know what I mean? Production is everything. It's critical. And on into the track list, like I said, Tank Top Pluto, he kind of bounced back with that one. California Girls, he kind of does the lady songs and everything like that. That's fine. But yeah, No Misery wasn't, it didn't really do it for me. Wait. Why don't you expect it to grow the ball? Because I mean, I just after all this time, no, I don't. I mean, I just don't. I don't have any, the style of his music is he's not exempt from moving the culture forward. He's not exempt, but I mean, the expectation of him doing such, I don't have that. I mean, and honestly, I mean, it just that's just really to me, to my point, that to your point, it's actually to a fault though. It's still to a fault because at the end of the day, if you're not moving the culture forward, that means you got to stay backwards and be good at staying backwards. And he didn't. You know what I'm saying? It just looked twice as bad. You didn't move the culture forward. Plus, you haven't kept up the consistency of what you normally do. It's officially kind of fell off. You know what I mean? This is like, almost like Patrick Ewing in an Orlando Magic jersey at this point. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's the problem when you don't move the culture forward. So it's basically in essence, I agree with that. You don't move the culture forward. You're gonna stay in the same time warp. You're gonna be the old guy in the club and everything like that type of style. And it didn't age well. And then the beat selection is not the same. You know what I mean? That's the really got me. It's like the style of the beats kind of changed on the song. I mean on the album. Track 10, I mean, some people say that was actually a good track. I thought that was awful. Track 10, it was just yeah, I mean, beat was awful. Yeah, Future is up now. Future is completely up now. But the thing is, he's not the if you're not moving the culture forward, you're gonna have trouble being an ump. You're gonna have a hard time being an ump if you can't grow and evolve with it. I mean, that's real. I mean, so that's an honest indictment. It's just that I didn't have an expectancy for that. I just expected them to have, you better have the same milk, you better have the same bread and butter formula. The beat selection cannot take a hit. And it's like you said, Future's Unk now. Some of this stuff, that's another reason. Some of these songs were like a long risk, like was risque. Like you really thought that. And here's another indictment. There's two critical indictments with this album. Two critical indictments. Number one, when have you ever heard an album with no features? With no features. Future with no features. You know what I mean? Like most of Future's greatness is features. There's no features. And that was a tall ask. With number two, that many songs on there. 22 songs. That's a lot of songs. That's a lot of songs to ask. Like Alice, come on, man. Some of these songs could have stayed in the draft. I mean, Hollywood and California Girls is like the same song. I mean, this album just dragged. That was the thing that really got me. Is like even Dirty Sprite 2, some of the songs, was kind of along the same lines, but it felt different in a way. You know what I mean? When it came to these songs, it was like, yeah, some of these just dragged. I mean, California Girls and Hollywood is pretty much, yeah, could have been the same song. I mean, it could have been, yeah. There's a lot of songs, yeah, with no features. I mean, like I said, future and feature kind of go hand in hand. You know what I mean? That was see, this is the kind of the indictment that when people say, "Oh, well, futures like should be considered amongst one of the big three." Listen, he's not a guy that can do a lot of songs without features. Like he needs other rappers that can rap. You know what I mean? To do songs with him or somebody other artists. He can't really give you that much future. I don't think we've ever had this much just future. Just straight future with no other artist, no other feature. And I mean, no production. The production wasn't good enough to carry him. I mean, yeah, this one kind of came out, this one came out kind of bad. I mean, a lot of people saying mixed reviews, and I mean, that's generous. I'm seeing future fans, like devout future fans, speak out bad about this. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, future and feature go hand in hand. So I mean, yeah, I mean, it was wild to see, like I said, diehard Future fans speak out and say, "Yeah, this wasn't his best work." I mean, not even his best. That's genuine. That's generous. I mean, I'm hearing a lot of people say, I mean, babe, what was your first comment on that? Oh man, yeah, man. I mean, it kind of felt like you said with these Unk now. I mean, this is like Elijah Wan with the Raptors jersey, man. I mean, think about the standard. Like I said, Hendrix. Yeah, Future and Hendrix, Dirty Sprite too. I mean, you're not gonna get this back, but I mean, at the same time, yeah, it's tough. I mean, like I said, 22 songs, that's a lot. Off the Hinge, if I could, Big Mo, Cast a Spell. So yeah, there was a good bit of these songs that was necessary. Like this could have been a 13 song album. This definitely could have been a 13 song album. Yeah, Yeah, like officially a year older than us. You know what I mean? And it's like, um, typically, and like I said, that's not stopping a lot of the generation, a lot of the OGs from coming out dropping crazy albums and everything. But it's usually artists that usually can provide us a sense of substance. Future did give us a long run though. Like I said, going back to his old work and everything, Future gave us a long run. Future been around since 2010. Um, in 2026, that's 16 years. I mean, a lot of rappers in his lane usually don't go that long. I mean, you think about the artists like Lil Scrappy, you think about Waka Flocka, you think about Travis Porter, you think about all the club lane, trap lane, melodic rappers and everything like that. Future kind of really gave us a long run. I mean, Young Thug, he kind of paved the lane for a lot of those different artists too, with that type of sound. But yeah, 2026 though, yeah, that's a long run. I mean, like you said, he's up now, definitely. I mean, y'all let me know in the live how you feel about the album. If you thought it was good, or if you thought Future's album was good, let me know. You know, what I mean, I'm all for a difference of opinion. If you thought it was awful, if you thought it was mid, let me know. Let me know in the comments too if you see it on the recording. Yeah, the production has the usual suspects though: ATL, Jacob, Reezy, Southside. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think he just went with just something like he just wanted. I guess he wanted to go something creative though. Yeah, I think he wanted to be a little too creative. The thing is, his sound has changed too. Yeah, I think the sound has changed, and I think Future wanted to try something more, a little different from what he normally does. Kind of went away from some things that he normally does, like heavy 808s is usually Future's thing. You know what I mean? That usually that a lot of the songs didn't have the bounce to it, and it kind of just dragged. You know what I mean? And it felt like he was traveling across the world as opposed to just stopping by Zone 6. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it kind of felt like. It felt like he kind of lost his Zone 6 touch and he kind of tried to adopt this global touch and everything like that. And, it's just like I guess he tried to make it feel a little more sophisticated and everything. And it's like, hey, yeah, man, people like the toxic beats to go with the toxic lyrics. You know what I mean? Like, the toxicity, man, it came with the beats, man. It felt like boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? It just made you bounce to it. You know what I mean? This has kind of made you marinate. It's kind of almost felt depressing on some songs, man. Like, yeah, I mean, listen, I can honestly say I can't say that it may or may not grow. It's gonna listen. People can sit up and sell the streams all they want to. Everybody's listening to it right now. So the fact that it's like top stream and everything doesn't really tell the whole story. Everybody listening to it right now, but everybody was also giving reviews and like I'm seeing diehard fans. He thought it was Ti. I'm seeing diehard fans like even just an outrage, like this is trash. Like I'm like, wow. Yeah, he trash in that box. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly, man. You can't, the real me kind of was the troubling sound. Like the title of the track was like kind of troubling. Like, people, I mean, not to say that people don't want to see the real you, but people want toxic future. They want the alter ego. They don't want the vulnerable, they don't want that vulnerability when it comes to you. And they definitely don't want you trying anything outside of the norm. Like, your formula has gotten you amazingly far. But honestly, yeah, I mean, is that sometimes change isn't always good. Sometimes, maybe he didn't need the evolution as much as he thought he did. You know what I mean? Maybe evolution is a little bit overrated. Well, not so much. Hey, if he was going to do something different, he has to be capable of doing it. But if you're going to stick to the format, you got to have the same peanut butter and jelly formula. I mean, it pretty much worked for so many years. So I mean, and then it's just time moves on. You know what I mean? Time moves on. I mean, you have an audience that's kind of core audience. See, artists that are over 30, over 40 years old and still making music, their audience is able to grow with it. Future doing electronic music, Neo doing country, universe is in a crazy place. Yeah, I mean, and think about it, like if your audience, see, it's easier to keep a core audience when you're in your 40s and everything like that because if you're making content and you're growing with it and everything like that, your audience can grow with it. But yeah, your audience is now, and honestly, his audience is like in their 30s. Like you said, a lot of people don't even know he's the age that he is. A lot of people think that he was in his probably making music for people that are now in their 30s, people that grew up on Future in their 20s was like 10 years ago, in their 20s, fresh out of high school and everything like that. And now they grown with families and everything like that. And it's like you don't even have the same sound that they grew up on. You just this guy that made the same music with a whole different production and everything. And the production kind of not, yeah. That's a slim margin for error right there, man. I mean, you know, like I said, there may be a couple songs that can make a playlist, a couple songs that can make TikTok, but overall, as far as reviews go, I mean, I'm just looking around and I'm not seeing any, good reviews. Not any great reviews, at least nothing to write home about. Um, but there are a couple songs on there. Like I said, I can honestly say, like I said, the intro came out strong. If an interview came out strong, I was like, okay, yeah, Future was pretty much bouncing back to that. Tank Top Pluto was probably the best. Next one, um, yeah. So track one, track five. Wait Up was okay too. Yeah, Konnichiwa. I think some people like that too. To each his own. Track 10, I didn't really like it, but I know some people that I heard some decent reviews about it. I kind of disagree with it myself. Track 10 is not probably something I will revisit, but I mean, somebody gonna play it somewhere. So you know what I mean? It's gonna get played somewhere. Um, yeah, 22 songs. I mean, it also felt like it was just like just throwing stuff to the wall to see what sticks. That's kind of the idea that I got behind the Future album as well. Like, 22 songs, like I said, with no features. I mean, that's a tall ask. Like I said, I don't think people understand for it. If you listen to a lot of Future's music or his body of work, yeah, I mean, that's a really tall ask to do 22 songs. And I mean, well, salute to him. I mean, he's getting a lot of streams though. I mean, it's not reviews. Streams and reviews are different things, but when you're an artist like Future, I mean, it's good to get those type of streams in, 'cause you know what I mean? Because he's heavily streamed. No matter what, Future in the past, since he's come out, since the streaming era, he's been on pretty much one of the top streamed artists ever. So, that's definitely a given when it comes to Future, is that he's definitely going to get those streams up. So, everybody's going crazy going through the album. I mean, like I said, you got to listen to it before you can actually give a review. So, Future racking up on those. But yeah, I mean, not gonna beat a dead horse about it. I thought it was overall, I would give Future's album pretty much a five. Yeah, five. I mean, I think that's generous too, 'cause I think a lot of people are saying worse, but I think it's like really the middest of the mid. I mean, the highest of the mid. But I mean, you know, it's been a 16-year run as well. Like I said, he's given out so much body of work that people can revisit his whole catalog and everything like that, and you'll still have a whole, pretty much a whole decade of stuff to listen to when it comes to Future. So, and then the features as well. So it's like he's hit that point of where people are many consider him a legend. So, you know, bad album, good album, mid album doesn't really change the legacy. Pretty much, everybody, not everybody, but yeah, even the best have a mid album. So, yeah, that's my time for talking about Future. But you all just jumping on for the first time, I want to encourage you to subscribe, like, share, comment. If you missed the live and you catch the show on the recording, leave a comment as well. Let me know how you doing, how you feel about it. Future's new album, La Reezy's new album as well. You can find me on TikTok on This Is Left Fresh. You can find me on Instagram at This Is Left Fresh as well. But yeah, man, it's not getting any sympathy from me. I'm gonna listen once more and then probably never again. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can throw it away, if you're done with it, because like I said, we know what his best work is. He's given us so much work over such a long period of time that at this point, it's almost like I said, like Ewing in an Orlando Magic jersey. Those are sports fans, you know what I mean. Ewing in an Orlando Magic jersey. It wasn't a pretty sight, but like I said, Father Time is undefeated. So, yep. But moving on to the next topic and the last one for the night, which kind of transitions to another semi-topic. One of the greatest sophomore albums in hip hop history has turned 30 years old on July 2nd. Um, Legendary artist, following up a absolute classic, a classic that many felt that would never be passed up until revisionists thought in today's hip hop discussion that somehow compared it. Not Illmatic. I mean, it was written. It was written. That's right. Illmatic was the album that stood as the standard, and it was written is a follow up that was released on July 2nd, 1996. 30 years ago, Nasir Jones, Nas dropped his second album. Like I said, following up the great Illmatic. And let's see if you can do this without saying Jay-Z. Oh no, I could definitely. Jay-Z got his flowers on Reasonable Doubt a couple weeks ago. So yeah, it was written. Definitely gets his flowers today. Yeah, it was written was definitely one of the best Nas albums, even in even when outside of the comparison of Illmatic, it was still one of Nas' best albums. You think about the intro, the message, Street Dreams, I Gave You Power. I mean, the first four hit hard. Um, Track 5 with Foxy on there was pretty good. I mean, it wasn't like I said, it wasn't the standout ones. Taking It Blood was pretty good. Nas is coming with Dre. Like I said, for a Dr. Dre appearance on there, people don't talk about that track as much. Especially on this, not just this album, it's just Nas discography altogether. Like this song with Dr. Dre on there, people don't talk about it as much as you would think. And then of course, it's a 14 song album. Affirmative Action, everybody remembers that. Everybody know that one. That's pretty much a classic Nas track. Um, Classic features with AZ, Cormega, and Foxy Brown. The setup with Havoc, Black Girl Lost, another notable Nas song in this discography. Suspect. Shootouts is probably one of the best storytelling Nas songs. Live rap with Mobb Deep. And of course, about Rule the World with Lauryn Hill, one of the featured tracks on there that got crazy radio play and pretty much iconicized his album. But yeah, it was written. It was definitely a dope album. Definitely a dope album. Um, it gets a lot of controversy now in recent hip hop talk because people really do actually come back to it and say, well, this one, I think It Was Written was better than Illmatic. Me personally, I disagree. I think Illmatic is still the best Nas album. I do think that It Was Written should get the flowers that it is getting though. Like people have now revisited, but like, yeah, this is dope. I do think people do get ahead of themselves and say, I got it over there. Now I do think because It Was Written has four more songs that many people kind of gravitate towards that over Illmatic. I think one of the biggest criticism of an album that's almost as perfect as Illmatic. You know what I mean? Me personally, I feel like Illmatic is like hip hop biblical. You know what I mean? I do understand the natural indictment to. I mean, I understand the tendency to just indict Illmatic because it only has 10 songs on there. But I mean, there's 10 songs that did not miss. And I mean, I know no skips is a subjective term, but I mean, to me, this is an album that I've always kind of just been able to just play straight through. Like, maybe because it does have less songs, but I mean, we're gonna fault somebody for just being, you know, I mean, it's still an hour long. I mean, it's still about a it's still a pretty long, pretty decent length album for 10 songs. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's 40 minutes. I mean, it's a little shorter than the typical album back then, and It Was Written about maybe 10 minutes longer. But yeah, man, I just can't. I can't revise history. I can't go back and just look at. I mean, I'm okay with revising history if it fits. I mean, if it fits, like, hey, you know what? 20 years ago, this album was probably considered better. Now looking at it, this one is actually better. And I'm okay with that. But I just can't come back to these two albums between It Was Written and Illmatic and pick It Was Written. I mean, I like It Was Written. Like I said, that's how much I like It Was Written. I mean, I do think it's a worthy comparison. Like it's a worthy comparison, but once we have it, I got to roll with Illmatic still. Still got to roll with Illmatic, but yeah, that's what I mean. It set the tone. I mean, and it's production too. I mean, like the production on Illmatic, it was just like so authentic. Like, you know what I mean? It was like you can't tell it. You can't tell Illmatic without the production. And then the way Yeah, man, it's just a better feel. You know what I mean? It was written. I will say this though, it was written felt more commercially appealing. It was written felt more commercially appealing. Um, like I said, when you look at track 14, you look at even on even Street Dreams, you know what I mean? Like I think the big conflict with Street Dreams when it came out was that it's around the same time All Eyes on Me came out and they used kind of like the same beat. But Street Dreams is dope. And then of course the remix with R. Kelly was crazy. But yeah, and then like I said, I mean I liked it was written though. Track 12 is probably still it's probably the song I revisit more than anything else on this album. Track 12 is like really grown on me as far as shootouts. That storytelling Nas did on there was top tier. That was one of yeah. Yeah, that's why I understand the argument. Like it was written definitely had a little more seasoning to it. Like Nas just really got he found the stride where it was written. You know what I mean? Like he hit that stride where it was written. Like I felt like it was written kind of felt like one of them King's Disease albums. Like once he hit that stride, like that King's Disease 2, like it just Nas is one of them rhythm rappers. You know what I mean? When he get in the rhythm, he starts really cooking. Like he get in that middle part, and it's like, oh man, like he's just understanding flows and delivery and everything like that. And yeah, definitely. But yeah, Taking in Blood was good. Like I said, the production on this one was also dope. Yeah, Dr. Dre, Mobb Deep, Havoc. You know, yeah, and the features was good too. I mean, this one was definitely a polished album. This was a really polished album. Like this was like the album that was ready to launch Nas into superstardom. Like, and then I am got like really big when he was just like doing videos with like when him and when Diddy's in your video and stuff like that. It's like, all right, come on, man, you're getting too famous now. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this one was more polished and you know what I mean, like more because like you said, Illmatic felt more raw and just gritty. And then you get into it was written, it just felt like more mafioso too. That was another thing. It was that more mafioso feel. Like Nas was really feeling like he was kind of like gearing towards the top of the hip hop game. And you got to think about this time too. Jay Z already had Reasonable Doubt, where he kind of just he didn't have the same recognition as Nas. You know, what I'm saying he's just making his bones, but he didn't have the same recognition as Nas yet. And Nas and Biggie and Pac, and all of them are still alive and stuff like that. And yeah, this is kind of like that. It took you to a different period where Nas was like really trying to trying to stake his claim as like one of the best in the game because like Illmatic was getting so much love at this point. This is like 2 years off of Illmatic, and like everybody waiting for him to kind of make that jump, man. He really did kind of make that jump. You know what I mean? Like, and it's kind of funny though because it's like, do we really consider it one of the greatest sophomore albums ever? You know what I mean? Like, it's a great sophomore album, but do we really consider it amongst the absolute best sophomore albums ever? You know what I mean? Like, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments if you catch the recording if you all think this is the best. I mean, if this is in the conversation with one of the best. You know what I mean? Yeah, Wu Tang, the Mob. Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of good candidates for best sophomore album. Like, and that's a mark of a. It's kind of the mark of a legendary artist too, because you know what I mean. Like, you gotta have a. To me, you almost kind of have to have either a great freshman album or a great sophomore album. I don't think nobody ever had a great. Yeah, I only think Mobb Deep's sophomore album is better. Exactly. Yeah. 'Cause I was thinking the same thing, being like Mobb Deep definitely has one of the greatest sophomore albums in hip hop history. They're definitely one of the people I was going to mention, and get, that's shown up there for you, for everybody, because people need to, just in case people need to know. I don't know who need to know, but I'll inform you just in case. That infamous album, second one off, the first one, Juvenile Hell. This infamous one right here, definitely one of the best sophomore albums in hip hop history, right here. Production through and through, Prodigy, top tier, all of that. Yeah. Prodigy Boys Mob, Havoc's beats, dark beats, Prodigy Voice, Havoc with his bars too. I mean, yeah. Mobb Deep, they're definitely one of the best sophomore albums in hip hop history. Hey, there's another anniversary coming up this year of another great sophomore album, and I can't wait to do a 30-year anniversary to discuss that one. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. ATLians, another all-time great sophomore album. And it's, when it turn, when does it turn 30? I need to know his 30th birthday because can't wait to cover that episode. ATLians definitely deserves an album. Definitely deserves an album. You know what I mean? I think that's like later on in the fall, I believe. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna be posted up. I got the calendar. I'll get into it later. I have the posters for that because we're gonna definitely do a 30-year anniversary of ATLians. Um, top tier, top tier sophomore album. And I feel like the OGs are gonna get mad at me if I don't have if I don't have this one up here. Yeah, August 27th. Yeah, I knew it gets close to the fall, end of the summer. Yeah. Can't wait to do the episode on that one. 30-year anniversary. Got to revisit that one as well. Outcast, legendary sophomore album. Next one up, too. Death Certificate. I feel like the OGs are gonna get mad at me if I don't put Ice Cube up there. Some sort of something in that Ice Cube run. And the sophomore album, definitely gotta put that one up there. Of course, No Vaseline, one of the greatest diss songs is on there. There's a lot of songs on this album too. Ice Cube had a lot of songs on there. But yeah, definitely feel like for all the unks, for the super unks out there, you gotta have Ice Cube up there. Yeah, trap music as well. Definitely in the mix. And then of course, Life After Death. Biggie, one of the sophomore albums of all sophomore albums. I mean, definitely um, highly talked about. Um, debated as one of the best, but like I said, highly talked about. And then of course, Midnight Marauders, Tribe Called Quest, off the Low End Theory, Rebound. Coming off of that. I mean, that's crazy how you follow up Low End Theory. You come with Midnight Marauders. So yeah, I mean, whew, that is crazy. Then of course, Late Registration, another legendary sophomore album. Just when you thought College Dropout was crazy, he come with Late Registration, and then the features on there was two. On there was crazy. People, when you go back to Kanye West Late Registration album, a lot of great features on there. A lot of people spit some legendary verses on there. But yeah, Midnight was the third. So Low End Theory and then Midnight. Could have swore it was Low End then Midnight. Yeah, Low End in 91, Midnight Marauders in 93. Oh yeah, Pigs with Stinkster. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, People Instinctive. That's right. Either way, that's a classic though too. Gotta throw that in there. That's right. Instinctive. Yeah. It's the thing is when you put that when you they don't put them under the right catalogs when you be looking them up. But yeah, People's Instinctive definitely too. Tribe Called Quest, another one. Like whenever you have albums with when you have artists with like legendary 3, 4 album runs, that sophomore album is definitely gonna be one of the greatest ever. So like T.I. with trap music, Tribe Called Quest, you know, artists that had like 4 album runs. Um, the only artist I could think of that didn't have a great sophomore album that had like a great 3 album run was Tupac. I think Pac didn't really get going to like, kind of like Me Against the World. I think albums before that, Brenda got Tupacalypse and Strictly for My Niggas and all that. Those first 2 albums had like great singles, but they weren't really like great albums. So like the first 2 Pac albums were okay, but they weren't like the Pac albums. It wasn't part of that run. Me Against the World was the run. All Eyes on Me and Machiavelli, that was the run. So like I would say Tupac didn't necessarily have a great sophomore album. Oh, another great sophomore album. Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood. Even though that was kind of like the same DMX album twice, it was still great quality. But the Massacre, absolutely, yep, yeah. And it's crazy because like Biggie and 50 really are pretty much driven by their only 2 albums. So by default, their sophomore album was dope. Oh, Marshall Mathers, Eminem's best album. Even if you're not a big Eminem fan, you can easily objectively say that Marshall Mathers LP was his best album. That sophomore album too. But yeah, definitely some dope sophomore albums to mention. Ja Rule, yeah. Ja Rule, yeah, that second one, that one pushed him through the stratosphere. Yeah, that definitely pushed Ja Rule through the stratosphere as well. So yeah, there's a lot of great sophomore albums to mention. There's a lot of great sophomore albums to mention. But yeah, Marshall Mathers was that was his best work. That was his best writing. That was his best beat selection too. Yeah, yeah. Marshall Mathers was definitely his best work. Definitely every pretty much a lot of great artists, like I said, when you had that great run, for the most part, it take a rare artist that didn't have a great sophomore album. Like I said, Tupac was probably the rare exception that didn't have a great sophomore album despite having a 3 album run. Ludacris, yeah, I think Ludacris had his second album was his best album. And I mean, a lot of times most people, Ludacris studio albums kind of tend to get bashed for being a little too silly and everything. But I would say Word of Mouth was probably Luda's best album. I can honestly debate that as one of his best albums. Area Codes, Move. Yeah, I mean, Luda had another album, like a lot of studio albums where they had a lot of mainstream buzz and everything like that. I think Redman's second album was dope too. Yeah, Redman definitely had a dope second album. So yeah, it was just a lot of albums to name. I just put a couple up there to get everybody talking. Chicken and Beer, Chicken and Beer was his best one. You're right. Yeah, you're right about that. But Word of Mouth, as far as the second album, was pretty. It was pretty good, solid second release, especially coming off of back for the first time. I thought Word of Mouth was pretty good, but yeah, Chicken and Beer was dope. I agree with that though. I can take that. I can roll with that take. But yeah, I mean, 30 years since it was written came out. Like I said, 96 was one of those classic years. Like I said, we already talked about Reasonable Doubt. We already talked about All Eyes on Me. Um, yeah, Word of Mouth was solid, but it's the second. Yeah, it's the second best. Yeah, absolutely. Chicken and Beer, and then Word of Mouth. Like I said, I thought Word of Mouth was a really good sophomore album because like Back for the First Time was really good when I first heard it, and then Word of Mouth came out pretty good too. And I was like, oh man, Ludacris might be on to something. And sure enough, lo and behold, that's exactly what he did. Um, I mean, man, it's crazy how many great second albums was out here. A lot of sophomore albums was out here, man. Of course, look no further than in modern day time, one of the greatest modern day second albums, Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City. This one right here, and, many people caught on to Kendrick Lamar around Good Kid, Mad City, but Section 8, Section was the first one, and Good Kid, Mad City was the breakout one. And it's kind of been one of the more complete projects in modern hip hop over the past at least 15 years, 15, 16 years. You know, Good Kid, Mad City has been easily one of the best albums. So, without further ado, definitely one of the best sophomore albums in recent years by default. Um, but yeah, Nas, yeah, Take Care, another one. Yeah, because he had a bunch of he had like a bunch of EPs and LPs and different stuff like that, like mixtapes, like Nothing Was the Same and different things like that. But yeah, Take Care, that was the breakout for Drake. Yeah, so absolutely. Yeah, it was written definitely 30 years, like I said, in a classic year. Like I said, imagine growing up in 1996, you had all these albums coming out this year. Very competitive year. Everybody was fighting for supremacy. Like I said, in the era of Biggie, Pac, Nas, and then Jay Z, a younger Jay Z trying to break into the game as well. And you have Outkast, and then you got UGK. I mean, '96 was just a loaded year. I mean, it was crazy. Yeah, Born Center was another great J Cole project too. Yeah, because honestly, the one he dropped in Let Nas Down, yeah, because Born Center was definitely a great rebound album. 'Cause, yeah, that was a great rebound album, yeah. Because yeah, that was definitely Born Center was definitely one of the best rebound hip hop albums ever. Because if you think about Cold World, like Cold World has some highs. I mean, I'm not gonna just completely just rag on it, but yeah, Born Center definitely was the redemption album of hip hop. And that's kind of a crazy theme about it. If you think about it, like what is the probably one of the best rebound albums from something that was not that good. You know what I mean? Like Cole was fighting for his. And I mean, listen, we can laugh about it now because I mean, yeah, Boris Center was something we all needed. I mean, we needed Boris Center. Boris Center was, oh man, that was a great rebound, and it was needed. Oh man, yeah, that definitely was. And I mean, it it's tough. I mean, it's really tough because, like I said, Kendrick Lamar came with his like a follow up, and Drake came with his breakout, and then Cole came with the rebound. You know what I mean? When you look at it in a big three sense, and it kind of when you come back to 1996 and you think about it, you got Nas trying to fight for supremacy. You got Pop literally on top of the game, just sound death row. You got Biggie getting ready to, Pac and Biggie going crazy. You got Nas trying to make his claim. You got Jay Z trying to break out. I mean, you know, there was a big three, and like Jay Z was kind of on the outside looking in, kind of in a sense. I'm not trying to bring Jay Z in it. It was just a great year for hip hop. It's like as far as great releases, you know what I mean? And it's just like, man, it just culminated into a great year. Like, and then like I said, then you had down south, you had Outkast and UGK cooking. Like, yeah, that was a crazy time. Crazy time. But speaking of time, that's my time for the evening, all. And I appreciate you all for jumping on with me, man. Appreciate you all jumping on, subscribing, and everything, and all the support I've been getting as well. Look forward to talking to you again on Wednesday, 9 p.m. for the sports episode. Got more stuff to keep up with. Yeah, Honest is a great sophomore album too. Before I get off, yeah, definitely want to jump off. I definitely want to say that Honest is a great sophomore album too. I like that one though. Yeah, much love, Bing. Appreciate you jumping on, man. But yeah, Wednesday I'll be back on 9 p.m. discussing sports, more upcoming developments. Maybe Braun finds a team at this point. But I'm definitely gonna be back Saturday, 10 p.m. Sorry, not 10 a.m. Discussing the Saturday Night Live more Saturday Night Live hip hop discussions. Be more new releases. Like I said earlier in the night, you all check out Reezy. Let me know what y'all think of him as well. You know what I'm saying? Double XL, hip hop artist that dropped an album yesterday. Skiddle Bandana. He's from New Orleans. Production was pretty good. Y'all go ahead and check him out though. I talked about him at the top of the episode. If you all trying to check out some newer artists and everything like that, he was on the Double XL cover. So, but yeah. Find me back here Saturday, man, 10 p.m. Saturday Night Live hip hop special, discussing more hip hop content, more discussions, more albums, more anniversaries, more new releases, more reviews. Chime in, let me know how you feel in the comments. Jump on the chat if you're able to catch on to the live. Thank you all for the support and everything as well. Like I said, you can find me on Instagram at This Is Left Fresh. You can find me on TikTok at This Is Left Fresh as well. You all enjoy your weekend. You all enjoy the rest of your Saturday night. I'm out. Peace.